When going shopping, a customer is faced with an important choice. What should they buy? In, in order to help them make a decision, many of them use a process called the 5 steps of decision making. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 steps. The first step is called problem recognition. This, as the name would suggest, is when the customer recognizes that there's a difference between their actual state and their ideal state. As such, they want to get closer to their ideal state by purchasing a product that helps satisfy their need. For example, if someone is hungry, they want to buy food. So that way, they are no longer hungry and they are more in an ideal state. Step 2 is the information search, in which the customer looks at information about a product in order to make a better decision as to what to buy. A more experienced customer won't do a lot of pre-purchase research because they won't know any better. Someone who has a little more experience is going to do the most research out of any customer group, while the most experienced people don't need to do as much research because they already have a lot of knowledge about their product. Once the customer has examined their options, they'll move on to the third stage of the process, known as identifying alternatives. In this stage, they'll try to narrow down what they think is the best choice, based on a wide variety of factors, such as price, taste, or quality. During this stage, the customer thinks about their evoked set as opposed to their consideration set. In the former, the customer thinks of everything that they could possibly buy, whereas the latter set only involves products that are currently in front of them at the moment. In this example, the evoked set would involve every brand of candy that our customer, Tom, could think of, whereas the consideration set only consists of brands that you can buy at the moment. In the fourth stage, known as product choice, the customer makes their final decision as to what to buy. This stage is the most difficult part of the process because it requires extensive problem solving. In order to help them out, customers use decision-making rules to make the decision easier. There are 2 main types of these rules. In a compensatory decision rule, a good attribute of a product to make up for a weak one. In the linear compensatory rule, for example, a weighted sum is calculated for each product based on important weights and attribute ratings. The score for each attribute is calculated by multiplying the attribute score times the importance of this attribute. The product that has the highest overall score wins. In this example, the Trolli Sour Gummy Worms is the one purchased because their total score is 6.25, better than the 5.95 of Sweet Totes and the 4.6 of Mike and Ike. In a non-compensatory decision rule, weak attributes can't make up for strong ones. In the conjunctive rule, the product that does not have any major weaknesses is the one bought. Here, Trolli Sour Gummy Worms wins too, because they don't have a score any lower than 5 on any given attribute. In the disjunctive rule, the product that scores the best on any attribute is picked. Here, Sweet Totes wins, because they score a 9 in the quantity department, while no one else has a score better than a 7 on any category. The lexicographic rule calls for choosing the brand with the highest score on the most important attribute. If there is a tie in any given category, you move on to the highest score in the next most important attribute. Here, Sweet Totes and Trolli are tied on the flavor category, so you move on to the next important one, which is price. Here, Trolli wins because they have a better price score than Sweet Totes. The final rule is elimination by aspects, in which the customer eliminates the poorest performer on each attribute. And once again, Trolli wins. The final stage is known as post-purchase evaluation. In this stage, the customer decides if they liked their purchase, if they experienced satisfaction, and they made a good decision. If they did not like it, then they experience dissatisfaction. They can express this dissatisfaction through a variety of ways, including responding directly to the company, a word-of-mouth private response in in which they tell their friends and family not to use this product, or a third-party response, in which this issue is taken to a third party in order to mediate the dispute.